Donald Trump suddenly now, like, I'm circling back and want credit for the vaccine. So I'm going to talk about it now that it exists.
Right.
Here is Donald Trump and Sean Hannity and this hard-hitting interview.
Back their statement. You know, Pfizer's really in, okay? I'll give you a little breaking news. Pfizer is in with the FDA. And what the FDA did with Johnson & Johnson is so stupid. You know, they all want me to do a commercial because a lot of our people don't want to take vaccine. You know, I don't know what that is exactly. Republican, I don't know what it is.
You encourage people to get it.
I encourage them to take it. I do. But they want me to make a...
Did you get it?
Yes, I did. I had it and I took it, okay?
You got both.
Because I believe. So here's the thing. They want me to do a commercial saying, take the vaccine.
Well.
And they think that's very important, and I'd certainly do it. But then I call them, I say, let me ask you a question. You just did something. 6 people out of 8 million people, somebody said that Tylenol, women's birth control, all cause far more. 6 people
out of 7 million
experienced some difficulty. 6 people, and it's too bad. It's terrible. But they paused it. That's the worst thing you could have done from a public relations standpoint. They paused Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And it probably even affects the other vaccines a little bit, but they paused it. It's had a devastating impact. I said, they want me to do a commercial, some commercial, and they do this pause. Now, here's your breaking news. They love Pfizer. They get along with Pfizer so well. And Pfizer doesn't like me because I put favored nations on prescription drugs. And favored nations will mean, if Biden stays with what I did, it's in the courts now, it will mean we have the lowest prices. We have the highest prices in the world by far. And in fact, last year, I got them to be slightly lower, but just first time it's happened in 32 years. But here's the thing, 52 years. Yeah. But here's the thing. I put a favored nations clause. So Pfizer and all these drug companies dislike me also. You know, I can be liked by everybody, but I won't be doing a good job. So I put favored nations because you have countries that pay a tiny fraction for the exact same pill.
All right. Well, he went off the rails at the end.
He went off the rails here. I mean,
he ain't wrong.
Look, I think there is an argument. There's an argument. And I don't know what the answer is in terms of like whether the pause was a smart thing to do from a public policy standpoint, right? I mean, I think there's an argument.
He said public relations.
Well,
that's what he meant.
Yeah. And that also, but that also reinforces his like worldview. That's what he did with COVID. He was like, oh, it's just a few deaths. I'm just going to continuing on because of public relations.
Well, but the point is with the vaccines, the question is how do you deal? Like the primary problem with vaccinations at this point is how do you convince, frankly, mostly Republicans, and it's mostly Republicans. I mean, just a statistical matter. But there's also, some Democrats, I imagine, and non-affiliated who are also, vaccine skeptics. How do you convince them that this vaccination is safe? And there's a debate, right, within these public health circles. Is it by being overly transparent and reacting to any possible side effect from the vaccine, or do you just announce it, say it's not that big of a deal, and move forward? And I don't know, the polling apparently doesn't show. The polling shows that the majority of people wanted them to pause it, and that it hasn't necessarily increased vaccine hesitancy. It's hard to sort of tease this out. So there's an argument there, but and then his claim that Pfizer in particular, well, Johnson & Johnson puts out drugs too. Like, I don't understand, why would Pfizer necessarily have an in at the FDA that Johnson did? But maybe it does. But the irony is that this guy did everything he could to discourage vaccine use. Like, is it just a coincidence that the Republican Party, and you can look at it, there's plenty of data about this, places that voted for Trump are less likely to go and get vaccination. It's as if it's like some type of coincidence. It's because of his messaging.
Or lack thereof. I mean, he got the vaccine, left office, and it was reported. He did not publicize it in order to appeal to anti-vaxxers. And now they've seen how effective these vaccines are. And what do you know? He goes and...
Got to circle back.
Right.
Got to circle back. Got to circle back.
And they're doing it very well in Republican states. I mean, there's just like very strange thing that's happening where maybe it's just because they're in some of these states are in the Sun Belt and there's more elderly. So they were able to disperse them quickly. The numbers were better. But like Florida did a great job with vaccination. Arizona, I mean, it's really weird. So he kind of has to own it a bit.
I mean,
in terms of just
trying to, sure, of course. And you know, but he bet early on, like, oh, the best support for the election denial will come from the people who are anti-vax too. So I gotta.
Well, now, but he can't stand that Biden will probably get credit for for the entire vaccine rollout, and I'm sure he saw how smoothly it went.
Yeah, I mean,
he's taking credit for it. He's been saying it. He's like, I ordered those vaccines. He's just taking them and hitting the road with them. It was me.
Yeah, it's just not going to be effective.
I don't think it's going to be.
People are going to remember when the vaccine came out. It's in 2021 when people had access. So.